Every NBA team has at least one scrub on its roster. That said, if you're currently receiving paychecks as one of the 494 players in the association, you're doing something right. Shout out to the boys who get their salaries, but obviously, we're not here to celebrate them. So after weighing their overall statistics output against their financial impact, they are still the 10 worst players in the NBA. First up, Chandler Parsons. Boy oh boy, did this guy win the lottery. Having earned $24.1 million this season, Parsons is by far the worst player in the league when it comes to overall value and how much cap space you are eating for Grizzlies. Since his days in Houston and Dallas, his scoring output has been cut in more than half, up to 5.7 points per game in the previous second-round draft, and with barely a rebound, he owes more than $25 million next year before coming out of the books. Next up is Ryan Anderson. Anderson just joined his 6th NBA team in 11 seasons, but no one could have expected him to fall so fast. And to think that this sharpshooter was named the best player in the league in 2012, pointless. Anderson's game has been a bit fast this year. He's scoring 3.7 points per game in 18.5 minutes, and his three-point shooting is down an alarming 20%. Considering that he had almost doubled his shot from in front of the arc, his stroke went seriously wrong. Also, no team wants to accept the terrible $80 million contract that the Rockets gave it in 2016. That's why after acquiring Anderson before the 2018 season, the Suns sent him to Miami last week, just before the trade deadline. With $41.6 million still owed until next season, this is not something any team wants on their roster. Up next, Joakim Noah. It's hard to believe that it was only 5 years ago when Noah was named the league's best defender of the year after serving as a key component of Tom Thibodeau's teams in Chicago. At his best, the two-time NCAA champion was averaging 12.6 points, 11.3 rebounds, and 5.4 assists per game. Great for a guy who's always known for his defense more than his offense. But that wasn't until he signed a 4-year, $72 million deal in 2016 with his hometown of the New York Knicks, which many fans call the curse of Phil Jackson, that his NBA career took a turn for the worse. After spending time in the G League and having a heated exchange with then Knicks coach Jeff Hornacek, he appeared in just 7 games last season before being released by the New York Knicks before 2018. Since being added to a lower Memphis squad, the 33-year-old has been contributing very little. Up next, Bismack Biyombo. Ranked 7th overall in the 2011 NBA Draft, Biyombo is one of the players who has been away from his draft stock for the past 8 seasons. The small-sized center never averaged more than 6 points and 8 rebounds, yet it somehow managed to reach a 4-year, $72 million contract with the Magic in 2016. Don't ask if it's just a drop in the numbers. Returning to the team and making his debut last summer thanks to a 3-way trade, Biyombo is putting up some straight pedestrian numbers for the Hornets this season. However, you will be impressed for a guy that only plays 1 game for 15.3 minutes and earns $17 million a year. This is practically a highway robbery, even according to NBA standards. Next up, Luol Deng. For most of his 10-year stint in Chicago, Deng was not known as a go-to scorer, but also one of the league's best lockdown defenders. And while the two-time All-Star continued to be fruitful on both ends of the floor during subsequent stops in Cleveland and Miami, it wasn't until he signed a $72 million 4-year deal with the Lakers in 2016. The Duke had already gone bad before being bought in September. 9 days later, he signed with Minnesota, but so far, his time with the Timberwolves has been far from successful, at 6.6 points and 2.9 rebounds per game. Up next, Ian Mahinmi. The Spurs have a long history of drafting well, but Mahinmi is certainly not one player that the front office will be fond of selecting, after he was picked with the 28th overall pick in 2005. The Frenchman has managed to bounce around the league, making his 4th NBA appearance in 11 seasons with the Wizards, but his minutes have shrunk since a breakout year with the Pacers in 2015. After agreeing to a $64 million deal in 2016, now with Washington, Mahinmi battled an injury before playing 77 games last season. But even when he is healthy, the 32-year-old center has not had a definite impact since arriving in the country's capital. Well guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to Athletic Dive, and hit that notification bell so that you never miss a video. See you all next time.